Part 2, Chapter 3. I was on the move all the next day and didn't get to Cutter's until after supper. This time I was determined not to let the place beat me, even though I was going in after dark. Once inside, I kept telling myself you can't tell if it's day or night anyway. I went first to the basement. It was well lit, dry and uncluttered. The furnace rumbled away in one corner next to an old table and a half-dozen broken chairs. There was a shower stall beside the water heater, its taps and showerhead crusted with lime deposit. The door of the washing machine was flipped up, and a sock drooped over the lip of the open dryer door like a hound's tongue. All the windows were covered with black cloth tacked to the frames. Back on the main floor, I thought I'd start a kind of inventory of all the stuff in the office. In a way, I was interested to see some of Cutter's research, but I soon saw that it would take me ages to go through all the files piled on the tables, hours to toss out the magazines, days to examine his printouts. Defeated, I sat down at the desk and flipped through the address book beside the phone. The handwritten entries were neat, listing a yard service, grocery delivery, contact numbers for telephone, natural gas, electricity amounts, my cell number, the pharmacy, the cafe. Beside the telephone company information was a penciled note. They're in on it. There were 3 PCs. I wasn't an expert, but it was obvious they were pretty new and, knowing Cutter, probably state-of-the-art. One seemed to be used only for internet service. I took a quick look through the hard drive and found no applications other than internet software. Cutter had disabled the email function on his browser, and there was no standalone email application. Why, I wondered. The books on the browser showed sites for news services in Toronto, New York, London, Manchester, and other cities around the world, along with a huge file of human rights sites. One folder labeled Conspiracy Theories Credible, and another Conspiracy Theories Dumb. I wondered how goofy a conspiracy theory would have to be before Cutter would reject it. The second computer had a few applications: word processing, an encyclopedia, spreadsheets and related stuff, and Cutter's banking records. The money files were all encrypted. No surprise there. Games, lots of them, were the only function of the third computer. I knew nothing about games, so I didn't recognize any of the titles. I opened one file on the desktop titled Peace, Game, ? And saw only page after page of code. According to the file's date, Cutter hadn't worked on it for more than a year. I sat back and thought, why had Cutter divided his activities between different machines? Wasn't it possible, easy for him to put everything on one computer? I remembered him saying something about being naked in a glass house when he used the internet. Was that the reason? Did he think that separating his work would protect it somehow? I decided I would never know the answer, so I shut down the PCs and turned off the peripherals, the monitors, and VCRs connected to the CCTV cameras. I wondered what to do next. The stairway to the left of the vestibule door led to the upper floor. The darkness beyond the top step gave me the creeps. I took a deep breath, flicked the switch, gripped the banister, and forced myself to climb. As I went, every stair creaked. I found myself in a hallway. A window on the back wall of the house was covered. The hall led towards the front of the house, where black curtains hid another window. There were 3 doors. In the bathroom, a toothbrush poked from a glass on the sink, a squash tube of toothpaste beside it, the cap missing, an electric razor dangled from a socket at the end of its cord. A couple of rumpled towels lay on the floor. The door leading to Cutter's bedroom was open. I stuck my head inside. A double bed, the blankets jumbled and skewed, a night table with a small lamp, a dresser, an easy chair beside a covered window. Good enough, I thought, closing the door. The one remaining door had been secured by 3 big padlocks. The key ring jangled as I released each one. I pushed the door open, flipped the switch, and lit up a nightmare. The ordinary furniture, a desk, a trestle table cluttered with files and a few filing cabinets, seemed out of place in a room that screamed insanity. The ceiling, floor, and walls, even the glass in the single window, had been painted black, flat black, and seemed to press in on me. Opposite the door, the entire wall was plastered with glaring orange, yellow, and red graffiti. The letters, jagged and sharp, "Mutwa shall inherit the earth," dominated the space. I stepped around the desk and took a closer look. The window had been nailed shut. All the graffiti had been written in chalk. All the phrases were multicolored, some like the banner a foot high, some as small as inches. Mr. Kurtz, he in Kievo. The schoolyard is mined. Operation Harmony. Karlovac is in the rabbit hole, is the rabbit hole. Tell Alice. And in Vermilion, they killed them all. I don't know what it was. The claustrophobic atmosphere of the little room with the black wall, the glaring words that erupted from an insane mind, the violence of each letter with its points and jagged edges, the certainty that Cutter had spent hour after hour bent over or kneeling on the hardwood floor, manically working sharpened bits of chalk back and forth like a demented prisoner, but the room seemed to scream out, "Run!" And run was exactly what I did. I stumbled down the stairs and out the door and into the clear, cold, normal autumn night.